Let's get ready. Oh man, Taco's already. My co-host Taco was in the house tonight. He's already getting to work on massaging my shoulders. And there's your purr. What's up, buddy?
Sun goes down, fades away. Lifeless fingers, red decay. Darkness comes, slow moving mist hides the land inside its fist. The riders come, sworn to obey, to chase the colors from the day. They ride on through with a thunderous sound, shakes the mountains and cracks the ground. Power, can you feel that power? As night rolls in with the witching hour. Power, can you feel that power across the land? Can you feel that power? Cold steel hearts, eyes like flame, etched in dust, forgotten names, echoed vows through shattered time, bound by blood and ancient signs. Engines howl like beasts unchained, blackened skies ignite the rain. Every step, the shadows cower when the ground bows to rise in power. Power, can you feel that power as night rolls in with the witching hour? Power, can you feel that power across the land? Can you feel that power?
What's up, guys? What's up? We are live on a Friday night. Taco said purr purr. uh, so yeah, we've been working hard. I put up a video today, guys. When you're watching my videos, they pretty much go up the same day that I record them. Um, who is this messaging me? Oh, Robert, what does he want? I get messages from all sorts of people. So it is what it is. Maybe he'll pop up on the thingamajigger here. um, so yeah, whenever I put up a video, it's typically the same day as the one I recorded it. What do you think, buddy? um, but I went out there today and tore out a bunch of shit. I worked myself to death today. It was quite a long day, and almost as long as his tail. But I had some people asking some questions, so I figured we would work on answering some of those. Um, First of all, let's look at what we got in the comments tonight. GA says Friday night live streams with the one and only Taco the Bass Kitty. Yeah, Taco's a trip, dude. He's a lot of fun. He's got a very distinct personality and does very unusual things. Um, and then Pumpkin, also known as Bass Cat, he's the big orange cat. He weighs 20 pounds. Um, he has his own specific personality, totally different. Both of the boys are really lovable. If you're ever going to get a cat, get a tomcat. They're way more cool than girl cats. Girl cats are lame. um, there's Robert. Maybe the same Robert. I don't know. What's up? Anyway, yeah, I got lost in thoughts and stuff. It just happens when you get old. You don't run down the train track no more. You're more or less kind of skating across a frozen pond all the time, smashing into stuff. Omar says, "Good evening, everyone. Good evening, man. Glad to see you here. Will I be going to the Sundown show? I highly doubt it. If it's not going to be local to me, then probably not. I don't do much traveling. I'm very limited on how far I go and how often I go anywhere, any distance um, for a show. Um, I have trouble sleeping outside of my normal confines, and so I don't get no rest. It's absolutely miserable for me to travel. uh, yeah, pretty much. That pretty much is the gist of it. Um, Omar says, if they're going to build a sixth order and want to know, do I need to seal it off around the sides? You don't have to seal it off around the sides. I highly suggest that you do. Um, you'll create traps. If you don't, you'll lose sound. Basically, if you look at an anechoic chamber, them rooms where everyone goes in there and it's real quiet. They can't hear their own echo and stuff. Well, you notice in that room there's all these wonderful angles. Come out, come back in, come out, come back in. Those are called sound wave traps. Anytime you have an angle like that going like that, you create a trap that the sound wave can go into, but it can't bounce back out of. It just vibrates until it gets turned into heat. Whenever you allow a leak like that around the sides of your enclosure, you create that effect there, as well as allowing sound pressure to escape from the cabin. You also create a trap for the sound waves, so it effectively works against you. And it doesn't take much to flatten it out. You could put a piece of cardboard up in there, and it'll make about 90% of the difference because it stops the sound wave from getting trapped. I highly suggest, again, that you use something much more sturdy than a piece of cardboard. But a piece of cardboard would effectively stop the trap effect. It won't handle the pressure, though. That's where a thicker material comes in because you're doing two things. One of those is giving the sound waves something to reflect off of. The other one is containing pressure, and they're not the same. So there's that. Let's see here. Robert says, "Hi, bro. What's up?" Um, the size of the sub changes the frequency tune for the sub box. Not necessarily. The size of the sub changes the required airspace for that sub. Okay. Any sub of any size can play any frequency. A larger cone and or a longer throw subwoofer can play a low frequency louder. That's the key. So can 6.5s play low? Yes. Can 6.5s play loud? Yes. Can 6.5s play low and loud? Not as good as an 8, which is not as good as a 10 or a 12 or a 15 or an 18 or a 21, so forth and so on. The larger the cone area and the more movement it has front to back, more pistonically movement it has, the better it's going to play low frequencies loud. So, leave my cord alone. Boy, I'm going to tie you up in this damn thing. Jeez. I knew letting him stay in here was a bad idea. He's a heathen. I see Bobby's in the house. What's up, Bobby? Uncle Bobby B. Leave my cord alone. I'm going to put that little lampshade on your head and make you run around with a bell. And the girls are going to laugh at you. My damn cord's alone. Are you going outside? Now, I got all of them stuck up on my desk. Sheesh. This cat's crazy, y'all. You want to see him go nuts. I get an ice cube out of the ice maker and throw it over there behind the food dish where it's kind of hidden behind his food dish, and he loves that shit. He runs over there and tries to dig it out. My wife hates it because he winds up with food all over the damn floor and shit, but he loves it. He gets a kick out of it, playing behind it, putting it back behind there and stuff. Fun shit. So yeah, your box frequency, well, up to a point, your box determines what frequency your subwoofer is going to play. And that doesn't mean that it's going to be super loud and super low necessarily. But if your box is oversized for your sub, then it can actually play lower than normal, but it's not going to play louder than normal. It's only going to be able to play lower down to a point to where it mechanically hits its limitations. What's up, buddy? He decided to get back up here. Since I took his freaking his wires away. Hopefully that answered your question. What's a good curve for adjusting all frequencies when equalizing? There's not. I tend to use Linkwitz-Riley. There's reasons to use all of them in different scenarios. That's why they exist, but I tend to stick to Linkwitz-Riley for everything. Because on a 24 dB roll-off on Linkwitz-Riley, you basically cancel. It creates a flat curve. So if you're coming in with your low-frequency driver, if you're coming in with your low-frequency cat right here, right, and then you have it on the Linkwitz-Riley 24 dB roll-off going down this way, and then you're coming in over here with your high-frequency cat, And you got him on a 24 dB roll on with Lincoln's Riley. The resulting amount that's in the middle, you're going to be the high frequency cat now. Yeah. The resulting amount that's in the middle will be basically flat. So when they sum together as they roll off, you'll end up with a pretty flat response across there. On the other curves, you can end up with a hump or a dip. So you might want a hump or a dip. You might. That's why I said all of them have their place. And 24 dBs on and off is your general go-to for crossing over two drivers. But if you have a weak spot, if you find that you're EQing up in the area of that crossover, right, you might want to have a little bit less, like have them overlap a little bit and create a hump rather than pushing the EQ up. Say if you're having a dip at 80 hertz, for example, instead of having it go to 80 and then 24 dB roll off, the other one come to 80 and a 24 dB roll off. Liquid's Raleigh on both sides. And you've got an 80 hertz dip, then you might have them go down to like the top one go down to like 75 and the bottom one go up to like 85 and have the same roll offs. And you'll create a hump. And so you won't have to push the EQ up. You'll put a little bit more power from both drivers into that area where you were getting a null. It is what it is. That's just an example of where you might change things up a little bit. Or you might use a Butterworth crossover or whatever just to fix a problem. So they all have their place. My go-to, though, is 24 dBs at Linkwitz Riley. It's my go-to. It's what I generally start with. And then I work my way off of that, figuring up on what I need to do beyond that. Omar says, thanks for the advice. No problem, brother. I do my best to give the best advice I can whenever I actually know what the hell I'm talking about. And also to remember that I don't always know what I'm talking about. I'm trying to get some fluids back in my body because sweated out a lot of them. Let's see here. Hey, back, if you have 290 amp hour lithium batteries, how many 4 alt gauge wire would you need to go between it? To go between the batteries? 4 alt. I don't have the 4 alt measurements wrapped up in my head. But alt gauge wires, 1 alt, I would probably run 4 alt gauge, true OFC alt gauge. And then, of course, so, I mean, if I'm going to run between the two, I'd run 4, yeah. Because that's a potential for, well, actually, that's even a little low. Depending on the batteries. It kind of depends more on the battery's potential output, but assuming that 190 amps, no, that'd be, let me think about this for a second. I don't want to sound like an idiot. I always sound like an idiot. I don't want to give you bad advice, is what I'm trying to say. 2,500 watts. 25 amp hours generally gives you the capability. So that'd be 25 amps. So that would be 190 amps. Technically, two. I wouldn't run one, but technically two alt gauge would run. But I would run four alt gauge. So I would say two. Two alt gauge, two four alt gauge positives, and two four alt gauge negatives, just in case. Just in case. Yeah, that's overkill, in my opinion. But that's what I would run just in case. Two four alt gauges, OFC. What's up, Bobby B? Um, let's see here. 418s or 2221s from Criminator. Yeah. Um, it depends, man. That depends on your baffle area. If you got the baffle area for 418s, you're going to get more cone area from 418s. If you've got that square-ish baffle area, if you've got more of a rectangular baffle area and side to side is not an issue, along with whatever kind of bracing and port and all that stuff that you're going to be doing. 221s are going to look really good. They're going to look really cool. They're not going to be. They're not going to give you the range. So, just like a small subwoofer can play low, just not low and loud. Very, very large subwoofers, if they're very heavy and stiff, they may not play the high bass as well as a smaller, lighter subwoofer will. That doesn't mean they can't, because they absolutely can. It just means that generally, larger subwoofers, really large subwoofers, have so much mass that they don't, their FS is like 20 something hertz, and they're just not going to respond as well to the higher bass notes. But then again, who is trying to get high bass notes out of a couple of 21s anyway? So I say if you can fit them, the cool factor brings in the brings up the ante, man. For actual performance, the 418s are going to outperform them by quite a bit. But 221s would be super cool. uh, the mids and highs must be set flat in the RTA tuning. No, they must. In fact, you almost always aren't setting them flat. When you're tuning your mids and highs in RTA, you don't want to create a flat line. Okay. That's not the response you're looking for. But what you do want to do is create something that's not really sharp peaks anywhere. So it's totally okay to have nice rolling hills, like the old Windows XP background. You want it to look like that, nice smooth rolling hills and valleys. You don't want it to look like some kind of crazy graphic error where the ground is torn apart. That's the idea with the whenever you're EQing out your speakers. So when I'm doing the RTA setup to get the basic, I take everything flat. My EQ's flat, my radio's flat, bass enhancements and stuff like that's all flat. All that stuff's turned off and flat. And then I use the individual channel EQ to take out peaks and valleys, mainly to pull down peaks until I get a response out of that driver that's relatively smooth. It doesn't have any sharp pokey bits or big valleys in it. Really? And then once I get that, and I've summed them all together, and I create with pink noise, and I create something that looks pretty like like a nice curved hill or a nice curved valley. Um, then I can go into the master EQ and get it more like EQ the whole output to kind of what I want to hear. That's how I do it. That's how I tune anyway. I mean, everybody's different a little bit. Uh, it's nice. Let's see here. What's up, Joseph? It's good to see you, brother. PSC Mentalist is in the house. What's up, Derek? Hopefully, you're getting something done, man. Did you ever get that box sold? Uh, Let me let Taco out real quick. What? Y'all give me a second. What? Oh, roll around on the floor looking cute. Yeah, I see you there. I see you rolling around looking cute. Yeah. Here. Let's go. Go out. Oh, children. Children. Oh, man. They never grow up furry children. They just stay children. Uh, yeah, it's good to see you, bro. Hopefully you get Presonator done at some point. I'm diving into one of my builds, so it's either going to be 418s or 618s. I ain't decided yet. I'm really looking hard at 618s. Um, I'm wanting. I've been using the SPL, the mini SPL meter, and it works good. But I've been itching to get the Base Ed Garage uh, SPL meter. I think right now it's probably the best buy, and I think it's the best packaged meter for the average person to get. That's kind of what I've been eyeballing. Um, so I'll show you here. Uh, Let me see here. All right, so let me go over here. Uh, do 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 do. Screen do 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 do. All right. Now, of course, you can pick this up over at Big Jeff as well, um, and use my discount code of CAE to save some money on it. But this little guy right here is what I've been using, and this is at Sonic right now, but same product, different website. The important thing is this right here. Okay, it's the amplitude of a 165 dB. So if you're going to be busting 165, this is not going to help you at that point. But there was another one. That's not it. I'm not sure about that one. I see these right here are not going to work for you. None of these are going to work for you. They're way too low of a reading. This guy right here. Is that the right one? SPL Labs. This guy right here. And of course, we'll just go to the first one. We'll go to Sonic Electronics. Even like I said, this is also available at Big Jeff. It just didn't show up in the search results. This is what I'm looking to get. We'll get one of these. Oh, actually, no, this isn't even what I'm looking for. This is not what I'm talking about. I'm pointing at the wrong stuff. Let me find it here real quick. So, wait, was it in here? Here we go. Yeah, that's that it. Did the price go up? That's on eBay. That's no bueno. Here we go. Yeah, this guy right here. All right. So this is what I'm looking at. I got buddies that have run this, and they seem to be very accurate. I like it because number one, it gives you your SPL score and your frequency at the same time. You don't have to like get your score and then change to a different screen to get to hertz. It shows you the both of them at the same time. So this is to me a little more useful. I also like the way the screen is. It's really this bright and this easy to read. That's cool too. It runs on a Type C power supply or this guy right here, either one. And it kind of shows you either one, I think, how that's set up. That's your reset button at the top. Real simple to use. $219. And again, if you use my discount code, what is that? Oh man, that thing's monstrous. Oh, that's a toy. Yeah, okay. Those are the little bitty V2 subs. I got those too. But if you use my discount code, what will we save? Let me see what we can save here. Oh, it says it's sold out right now. Well, ain't that a bitch? That's a bitch. Well. Okay, yeah. It's on sale and it's sold out. Okay. Well, so much for that. But this is what I'm looking to get right here. Now, I suppose you can go over to eBay and get one for like $100 more. If they, I'm sure they have them. They probably bought up a bunch of them and then turned around and reselling them at a higher price. You know, as one does. That's how money is generated in the world. But that would be the one I would point you towards. So yeah. Let's see here. Cool. So you did sell it. Awesome, dude. I'm glad. Hopefully you got a little money out of it. I mean, I know you had more in it than what you got out of it. Typically for a box like that, with a window and custom work and stuff, you know, $500 to $700 is kind of the number that I would be looking to pay to have it exactly the way I want it, with with like a 3/8 acrylic window in it and custom etching and all that kind of stuff. For someone that's overcharging you, you could spend $800, $900, but it better be really good at that price. I mean, really good. 6/18 for the win. Hell yeah, bro. Got a new builder, one in Arkansas. That's cool. Um, we have some really good builders here in Springfield, Missouri, actually. Really, really good builders. GP Car Audio, for example. If you want to get something, I mean, dude, here, let me take you over there. Take you and show you guys around. For those of y'all who haven't been introduced, Um, if we're going to go over here to the GP car audio side of things, we're going to go take a look. We're going to look at it. Yeah, that's the Undertaker Team Undertaker version 2. Yeah, it's kind of stupid. It's kind of stupid. It's crazy. Let's go to subwoofer enclosures. I'm going to show y'all what you can buy on the internet for a reasonable price. Um, so these are prefabs, right? The True Spec Elite. There's two different types here. You got the prefab enclosure, which comes exactly like this, and then you got the glue it and screw it custom enclosures. They're not the same thing. The prefab enclosure comes completely constructed, just like you see it in the picture. All right. And the glue it and screw it comes flat packed. So it's all cut out, it's all CNC milled, literally snaps together with glue. You don't even have to use screws. You can just glue it together and clamp it if you want to. And it fits together perfectly. Perfect seamless fit. And you can see the prices on the glue it and screw it boxes. So for like a dual 10-inch high output XL glue it and screw it, $214. A dual 10-inch, $199. These are really good prices. Okay. But for those of you who are looking for something that's really cool, this is the category. If we click on one of these, this is a True Spec, really well braced, double baffle with an extra beauty ring, with milled work done on it, all put together, all ready to rock and roll. 100% solid as shit. There's an internal shot. $399. And you can get these built custom as well. So if you look at their, let me see here. I just want to show you the better. Let's look at some big ones here. We'll look at some 15-inch enclosures. See if he's just got some that I can quickly go through. But the cool thing is, you can also get blueprints. So you can get it exactly. You can get one cut, get the blueprint to build an exact box for $25. But you can get these enclosures done really custom too. You can get them with the glass in them, etched glass, or not glass, but like plexi and acrylic. You can get whatever you want etched in it and stuff. Like you could have it say whatever you want and all kinds of crazy elaborate stuff. They can do very, very, very detailed custom stuff. And the prices are going to be better than pretty much anywhere else, especially considering what you're going to be getting from your order. Very precision. And like this is an example, these right here are the glue it and screw it elite boxes. So you can get these done, this dual 10 box, right? And it's glue it and screw it, so it comes flat packed. You got to put it together, but it's all CNC. All the stuff's there. The acrylic stuff's there. Everything is there. You just put it all together, and you have that wicked box. $259. So you need to check out GP Car Audio and their subwoofer enclosure, potential subwoofer enclosure stuff, because you can get it. You can go down through here. See, you can do bracing, what type of window, right? What you want to have, what you want it to say. Do you want to upload a thing? You want to upload some kind of image, custom dimensions. You can get and they can make them per spec to the subwoofers you're going to put in there. So you're getting a subwoofer that's built to the spec of, or a subwoofer enclosure built to the spec of the subwoofer that you're going to run. I mean, like it don't get no better than this. It doesn't get any better than this. It's got the terminals built in back there. You can see them back there, and yeah, they're really really cool. Anyway, just thought I'd pass that stuff on. If you guys that don't know, that's an option. Uh, Thank you, PSC. The quality of wood changes the sound of the sub box. No, the quality does not change the sound of the sub box. The quality of the wood makes it easier to build with. Um, like if you've got a whole lot of voids in your plywood, it tends to not be as easy to work with because you end up with holes where you're trying to put screws and things. So it requires more work to make it work. Um, there'll be, if you ask a dozen people, you'll get a dozen answers on voids in plywood. There's some are like, oh, it's going to ring in that chamber and all that. No, it's not. No, 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 no. It's going to be weaker, sure, but um, I mean, it's not going to make any difference in the overall reality of things. Um, I use pine plywood for all of my shit. Is birch stronger? Yes. Real extremely high count, layer count, high level marine grade birch stronger? Yes, it is. Much stronger. But in the scheme of things, if you're going to be using 2 layers of 3/4 inch anyway, it's not going to make any difference. Ultimately, it's not going to make any difference. It's going to make way more difference to your wallet than it will to your build. So, but there's voids and stuff. Then there's the finish itself. So it all depends on how you're building, what you're building, how you're going to finish everything out, and all that stuff. Yes, it affects all that. But how does it affect? But does it affect the sound? Not really. No. The wood should not affect the sound ever at all. If it does, you didn't design or build the box right. Fondos. Fondo. But yeah, if the wood's making any kind of sound at all, that's a box is a fail. The best kind of material is something like concrete. You don't want anything to resonate whatsoever at all. So that's the point. Is to stop it from making sound at all. If it makes any sound, then it's broken. Let's see here. Millie J. Question. I believe my door speakers in the front and the ones in the back dash underpowered. How good? I'm running 2 of the Slapz 2K.4s. I absolutely love those amps. I switched out my Mini 4 and my Chrysler to a 2K.4 because I wanted more power on my doors. I want more big bada boom mid bass down there. And buddy, they do the thing. Very strong amplifiers, really really strong amplifiers. If you're wanting a whole lot of power on multiple channels, those are absolutely the perfect solution for that problem. They are a good solid piece of kit. Let's see here, 160 RMS front a piece, and the ones in the rear are 200. Yeah, they'll do a real 500 watts RMS at 2 ohms, real 250 watts RMS at 4 ohms. And so keep that in mind. You'll have more power than what you can handle, so you'll need to turn them down. You can always dial those little dials back a little bit, but you can't turn them up past a certain point. So having more power than you actually need is what you want to start with. That way you can turn them down. But yeah, you won't go back to anything else once you start using those 2K.4s. They're just a stupid amount of power, relatively small footprint, dead silent, back floor noise. Um, yeah, they sound great, man. They really do. I love them. Um, oh man, AVAC said I got a pillow call in my name. Hey man, no problem. You have a good night, sir. Um, oh, I didn't know. Probably because he's on vacation and he's just going to take his whole. He's taking a vacation from work, and I guess he's taking a vacation from streaming as well. So I would say that would be my guess on that. Um, he's been posting crazy pictures of him on a motorcycle and stuff on Facebook, so I'd heard about that. Um, let me see something. I'm wanting to look and see what the community is saying. I've got a lot of comments on the last video I just put up. Um, let's see here. You go with 6 and a fourth if you want if the subs work in that kind of environment. Go big or go home, as they say. Oh yeah. And he says, Base Fanatic says I would go with 418s instead of 6 in a sixth order. I think you'll be happier. Yeah, that's another thing. So the fourth order is kind of tricky. And there's a bunch of them in here. And said I got 618s and a fourth and then hammers. Um, Fourth orders are tricky. So you tune them by the ratio, essentially. The closer you get to 1-to-1, meaning the sealed chamber and the ported chamber being the same size, the flatter the response curve gets. So it acts more like a sealed enclosure, just a sealed enclosure, a really big sealed enclosure with a whole lot of subwoofers in it. Now, as you increase that ratio, so as you make the ported chamber bigger versus the sealed chamber, you start creating a hump. And where exactly that hump is determined by the opening of that chamber and also how big the two chambers are, period. The ratio between the two changes the steepness and singles out the hump. So if you want to really, really, really hammer one specific note, you have a very, very tiny sealed chamber and a great big, huge vented chamber. That gives you a serious peak on a frequency. And then the size of the sealed chamber and ported chamber and the port itself on the ported chamber determine what that frequency is. I do not want anything to do with anything like that. I want a very, very musical, flat build. So I'm going to be trying to go to something really close to a 1-to-1. I may have a slight bump, like a 1.1 or 1 to 1.2 or something like that. So a slightly bigger top chamber than bottom chamber. But I'm going to be really close to a 1-to-1. And that's how that works. I'm just looking through the comments over here on this last video. Haven't answered these questions yet. I have a design for a sixth order for 418s if you're interested. Oh, that sounds fun. Yeah. I might hit him up for that, see what I come up with. Let's see what you guys are asking over here. So yeah, that's what I think's going on with Andy. Thanks again for that. No problem, man. Craig Engelman in the house. What's up, man? Um, can't beat GP, glue it and screw it boxes. Yeah, I know, dude. Um, and it's a good quality product. So, for those of y'all that are wanting something that just looks really, really, really nice, it looks so good that you're not going to want to like hide it. You're going to want to keep it out and show it. That's what you're looking for. They can do some pretty cool stuff with the custom ones too. They can do them in any kind of material you want, and anything. Top notch, he says. Hell yeah. Um, yeah. If I'm going to glue and screw, I might as well cut it off. So, well, yeah, sure. I mean, the thing about that is though, is those glue and screw it boxes. If you go that route, they're going to design it right. So you're going to need to design it, cut it, and glue it and screw it. Um, with those glue it and screw it flat pack boxes, it's just like having all your stuff is CNC. And if you look at the price of buying the wood to do it with, and then just that alone, you're almost paying for the whole glue it and screw it flat pack. It's really crazy the price of wood. So just keep that in mind. It's really a good deal. Um, yeah, I'm not crazy about ported boxes. I really ain't. But ports do make things more efficient. Uh, for SQ stuff, I still lean hard towards a sealed enclosure. I really do. I've got a ported enclosure in my car right now, and I'm going to leave it in there until I get the Tahoe built. And I'm probably going to pull it out and put a sealed enclosure in there. I like the way sealed sounds better. Um, for the violence that I would in the Tahoe, I just want violence. I don't care about sound quality per se. I want it to be violent. I do want it to be musical, meaning I want it to play all the notes and a wide range of notes. But I'm not picky about little stuff with that. I just want it to be loud. Now with my car, it needs to sound amazing. That's the whole point. So yeah, I agree with you. Actually, aeroport's always going to be better. It's just going to be more difficult to design around and to implement. But if you want to get a good airport and not have to do a lot of crazy work to do it, pick up one over at Big Ass Ports. You can get them in multiple sizes, and you can get the kits where you can change the links, and all you do is tape them together, the sections. I used one in a Tahoe build for a while. I was impressed with them. They do real well. You can get away with a much smaller port than you should by using those aero ports because they tend to not make as much noise, even though they're moving way too much air through way too small of a space. They do it so efficiently that they don't make noise, at least up to a point. So yeah, aeroport's better. It's just harder to design around and more expensive geometry wise. It takes up more space in your box. You can't really use it as a side to the box, It's going to take up space. It can't be tall and thin and wrap around the inside of the enclosure. It's going to be a big, huge thing going straight through somewhere. So that's kind of the drawback with the aeroports. But yeah. What's nice is made for your subs. Absolutely, yeah. You're talking about the GP subs boxes? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, brother. Porta box give you tons of output right where you don't need it. Dead in the middle of cabin gain. That's why it sounds muddy and detached, and you lose all subsonics. 100%. I tend to uh, Glaxer. I tend to tune my car boxes low. I tune them low. So I build the ports to play like in the 20s, where I know a sealed enclosure would start to drop off. I tune the port to play down there. So we're not picking up this huge gain hump in the middle. We're actually extending the shelf of the sealed enclosure down lower than normal. That's where I tend to do. It's how I get past a big portion of what you just said. But you're absolutely correct. I like them to play like 24 hertz, 20, 26 hertz. That way I don't get a hump. uh, yep, they do. They have the pocket screws. You can do the pocket screws on them. You can make those things look absolutely beautiful. They're beautiful boxes. Let's see here. And to some degree, you're right. To some degree, you're correct, man. Um, and and to some degree, you're right. Um, but the thing is, for not everybody, some people. It's the argument goes. It's like some people like a certain type of sound, and some people like a different type of sound. And for everybody, that's why there's different options. I prefer a sealed sound. I prefer the way that sounds. I don't really like the sound of a port making noise. Um, I never have. It definitely is more efficient. It's definitely louder. So if you're trying to build something that just romps and stomps and just blows wind and blows massive amounts of bass, some sort of ported enclosure is going to be the win for that, right? But if you're wanting something that's going to sound good, you're always going to get a better sound to me, for me, out of a sealed enclosure. But like I said, that's just me. Uh, Now, as far as the software and stuff, sure, there's design software. Uh, I'll show you guys what I like to use. Give me a second here. I think I have it pulled up somewhere. Yeah, there we go. I'll switch over here. Switching, enhance. I've been working on looking at a ported flat wall for four. This is 418 ported flat wall. Big sucker, right? Because I was wondering if I was going to do this or not. I'm pondering. And it'll do certain things. You can get it done. Uh, you just have to put in the dimensions of all the stuff that you're trying to work with, and it can create a box for you. It can even give you a cut sheet, so you can get your cut sheet down here. If you go to plan, it can literally give you the exact sheets of everything, right? I never use this. I get the general idea and then I work around the general idea, but it can give you a full cut sheet of every single piece that you need. Top, you know, there's your dimensions, quantity too. You can literally go through and cut all these pieces and they'll snap together. Um, so yeah, you can do this, right? 100%. Um, but not everybody wants to try to get into that. And also, that is a pretty generic deal. Like on this software, there's nowhere to put in your Q factor. There's nowhere to put in your RF. There's nowhere to put in all the different TS parameters that you would have. So you're getting um, a generic set of values for a subwoofer of this size. So it may be magic and it may be meh. That's going to come down to luck, really, and experience with that specific driver. But can you build something that'll probably work pretty good? Yeah, absolutely. You can do from 1 to 4 subwoofers on this one, and you can do it says it'll do a 4th order or a 6th order, but it won't. So you can do a ported or sealed enclosure. It won't let you do the 4th or 6th. It's got them listed there, but you can't click them. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. We work with what we got. Yeah. Oh, you're talking about birch. And like I said, if you're hearing the wood, then you didn't do it right. The wood should not make any sound. That's the purpose of the wood and the bracing is to prevent the wood from making any sound at all. All right. When you tap on the wood, you should hear nothing, ideally. You're never going to get to that point, but you should hear just a click. If you hear any resonance whatsoever when you tap on the wood, then it's not as good as it could be. Can we compromise? Absolutely. We all compromise. We can't afford to have a box that's like 6 inches thick in all directions, or that's made out of steel and concrete and all this stuff in all directions to get that. We're not going to get there. What you want to do is instead is get it so that the panels of the enclosure resonate when you do hit them, resonate at a higher frequency than any frequency you're ever going to play in the box. Therefore, as far as the bass that you're going to try to reproduce in that enclosure goes, as far as it's concerned, the box is dead silent. It's never going to cause any of those panels to have any resonance at that frequency, which would cancel out. Anytime the box resonates at the opposite wave of the frequency that you're playing. So if your subwoofer is breathing out and the box is breathing in, the subwoofer is breathing in and the box is breathing out, that's going to cause cancellation. It's like having one sub wired out of phase. It's going to cause cancellation. You don't want that. That's the big killer. So as long as the box, even though it's not going to be totally stiff, right? As long as it won't resonate with the frequencies that you're going to play, then for as far as those subs are concerned, it is completely stiff. So it's good. That's why you can get away with building a subwoofer enclosure that's a 1/2 inch or 3/8 of an inch or whatever thick, as long as you're factoring in the bracing and the frequencies that you're going to play. How big are those panels and cross bracing and stuff? That changes the resonant frequency and makes it work anyway, even though it's very thin. A very small panel is never going to have a resonant frequency low enough right? It's never going to have that low of a frequency. So it's not going to vibrate at the frequency that it has. Whatever its resonant frequency is, this is, unless you're playing this note, right? Then it don't matter. So you could totally put a subwoofer in this plastic can and it would function because it would not be vibrating sympathetically at the same frequencies that you're trying to reproduce. And that's what the whole point. Now, it's still not going to contain pressure as well. Pressure is another one, but sonically it would work. Uh, okay, good question. And Derek said it. Damn it, purchase pricey. Yeah, it ain't cheap, brother, and it's not worth spending the money, in my opinion. Unless you just want to be able to say, "Hey, I got this amazing birch box," and you're going to finish it out and make it look all pretty and stuff and show it off. Yeah, okay, fine. But even then, you could just use a thinner birch veneer and on a pine with a birch veneer and get the same exact appearance. Throwing that out there. What's better, a central port or a sided port? Well, if you're trying to create SPL in a car on a meter, you want your port to be on the driver's side, whether that's in the trunk, in the driver's side corner of the trunk, or whether that's a flat wall with the port over behind the driver. You want the port over there as far that way as possible to allow the sound waves to mature with the meter on the passenger side glass or the passenger side footwell. Um, Other than that, it doesn't matter. I kind of like having my port centered. I know I was showing you that box with that port um, on the side, but that's not what we were talking about because that designer doesn't allow you to do that with the port. It's either going to be on the front or the side, but it's not going to allow you to do the front center. You have to just design it and then just move the port over when you build it. That's why I said I don't use that for the cut sheet. I just use it for the basic dimensions and shit. Um, I think it's better, me personally, to have the port centered because it keeps the load on all the subwoofers the same. Whenever you have a port on one side and multiple subwoofers, you end up with subs loading differently, and they will actually heat up at different rates and stuff. It's kind of a curious effect that happens. Now, if you have a single sub in there, then it doesn't matter as far as that goes. You're going to be able to get lows a lot more solid if you have the port as far away from the driver cone as possible. So having the driver's cone way over on one side of a long box and then having the port on the other end, maybe even on the other end and the other side, is going to give you better low lows. It's going to have way smoother, more solid lows because the port doesn't interfere or mix with the sub cone. There's so many different variables though. But no, it really doesn't matter for the most part. Sealed for simplicity, soft suspension, high MMD, low FS, high VAS, very easy spec, common car audio subs for sealed. Yeah, sure. I'm 100% with you on that. Else are made out of OSB and subfloor. As long as you get a good airtight deal and you're not getting a bunch of panel flex at the same frequency that just as the note you're trying to play, then you can get away with that. Sure. I worked for Rex Lumber, who made the panels for pianos. That stuff makes insane boxes. Okay. Box is pressboard and soaked in epoxy with carbon fiber, wrapped single 15. There you go. Yeah. Well, see, the thing about pianos, guitars, drums, timpano drums, uh, anything where it's an instrument, you want the wood to make a sound. That's the wood's job, is to make a sound. If you absolutely do not want it to be dead, the wood needs to resonate because that's where the sound comes from, right? It's like it's the speaker. That's the speaker. For a subwoofer box or any kind of speaker enclosure, you want exactly the opposite. You do not want the wood to resonate. You only want to hear the cone, or the cone and the port if you're a porty person. That said, it doesn't mean you couldn't use that wood. It just means that it's not necessarily optimal, because you may have to use more of it or whatever. It doesn't really help. That's what I'm getting at. If you can get it for free, go for it. I'm sure it's beautiful wood. And soaking wood with resin is always a good option, because it helps to keep the wood from being wood. It makes it less vibrating, which is the same reason why some guitars really want guitars that don't have a thick lacquer paint on them, because that lacquer, that thick paint, will keep the wood from vibrating as good. So they want a wood that just has like a light oil finish, and that's it, because they want the wood to vibrate. Well, when you paint something, you change its tonal characteristics. So when it comes to subwoofers, you want to do everything to a subwoofer enclosure or a speaker box in general the opposite to what you do to a guitar or a piano. You do not want it to vibrate. You do not want it to have a resonance at all, if possible. You want the complete opposite. So it is what it is. I got an Auto Z Havoc 15 220, which is a copy of American Bass Hawk. Yeah, you were showing me that. That's cool. Craig, am I going to do 6 or 4 18s? I don't know yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to build the thing. I'm going to build the thing with 6 in mind. So I'm going to build the interior out with as much airspace as I can possibly get. Good, strong structure and lots of airspace. And when I get down to where I'm to the point to where I'm about to build a baffle, that's when I'm going to make my decision. I'll take the measurements off of what I got, and I'll see if it's something I can do. That's the idea. But I can do either one, and my plans will work either way. I would really like to have 6 18-inch subs, and I know that it's possible. I just don't know if I can make it happen or not. We'll have to wait and see. But it should be good. Either way, it's going to be fun to watch. You guys stay tuned. Hit that subscribe button and keep up with the videos, because they're all coming one by one. Question formed as a statement. With a ported box, can you still get excellent kick drum impact, fast double pedal? Not really, not so much. No, not in the area where the port's at, because you have port delay. That's the main reason I don't like ported enclosures for sound quality. Is because of that port delay. It's a group delay. So the way your port works basically is your subwoofer's here and your port's here, right? So let me do it this way so you can see better. This is the subwoofer, this is the port. So the subwoofer starts to play, and then as soon as it goes out and then back in, the port gets kicked off. And then when the subwoofer stops, the port goes again and then stops. So you get a delay at start and a delay at the end. And it's just a half a frequency, but it makes the note soft. And that is where the port falls apart, is in that kind of stuff that you were talking about. If you're really jamming with stuff like what you just listed, if that is what you're interested in, then stick to a sealed enclosure. You're going to like the sound of that better, for sure. Um, if you do decide to run a ported enclosure and you want all those effects, you want that port tuned way down low so it can bring in the bottom and it doesn't start talking unless you're getting really low. Um, Most of that type of those transient sounds, your kick drums and all that stuff is, in the 50 to 60, 70 hertz, 80 hertz, 90 hertz range. And they're not really in the subwoofer range as much. Um, Most of what's down there in the, 50 and below is frequencies that aren't getting played by normal music. So it's not really going to affect them so much. I mean, you don't hear kick drums really resonate in that range of where a port would be active. So it usually is an issue. Like in my car, I can be playing my yacht rock music and stuff, Elton John, freaking Lionel Richie and all that, and you'll never hear my rear sub come in at all, because there's nothing, there's no information for it to reproduce. All the information is wasted. Um, you don't really hear it come in unless I'm playing something with some serious drop to it. So, what I'm basically saying is, yes, it will make it sloppy, but no, it probably really doesn't matter because none of that stuff is going to be playing that low. Hopefully, that answered that question. Um, Millie J said, "How do I set my gains? My Slapz 2K.4. I have an O-scope mini device, but I never set mids and highs. Is the remote area looks super bulky." Okay, I'm going to reread this when I get my Slapz 2K.4. I don't normally set my mids and highs. I don't set my gains like everyone else does. So I typically, because I'm not going to push on my mids and highs amps, I'm not going to push them as hard as I am my sub. Um, I usually go to my gains and just turn them about 3/4 of the way up, and then I set the actual amount of power that I'm sending to my shit through my DSP with the levels in the DSP, because I'm not going to be pushing them into clipping anyway. They're going to be far below that. So that's how I typically do it. And if for whatever reason the amp isn't loud enough on those drivers, I'll turn the gains up a little bit more on that set of channels. And if that still isn't loud enough, then I'll probably get a different amp or more speakers. Because it's just not something that I don't want to push those into oblivion. So, yeah, I just turn them up about 3/4 and then I set the levels with the DSP. That's what I do. I don't know. And when you're looking at your O scope and you're starting to getting ready to EQ everything in, put on pink noise. This is how I set the levels at that point. Put on pink noise and then adjust your levels to where the pink noise is more or less flat. It's not like ramped up real hard on the tweeters or ramped up real hard on the lows. I usually go to something that looks a little bit of a slight V to it, just a little bit. So the overall pink noise has got a slight V to it. That's what I tend to prefer. And then I start setting all the levels and I go back and check that again. And then I set my levels to do that. And then I use my EQ per channel to EQ each driver so that it's producing a round sound. And I use the levels to get the overall pink noise to where it's. And what you should see with pink noise is you should see a higher bump in the lows because it has a higher bump in the lows. You should see higher bump in the lows, and then it should drop off as it goes toward the highs. It'll kind of go up real quick and then just slowly drop off toward the highs. And that's the natural flat EQ for pink noise. I try to pull my bump down just a tad bit and then pull my highs up just a tad bit and to where it's got a slight smiley face to it. And that's where I like to set mine at. But that's just how I do it, man. Let's see here. Rob says, I just look at GP Audio. They don't have a gluten script boxes for 18 inch sub. Well, shit. Okay, let's go. I don't know. I do not know. I do not know. Let's go to gluten script. Now, they do not have an 18 inch, but they do have custom quote inquiries. So you can shoot them a thing and they will give you a custom design. So while they don't have an 18 inch sub listed, you can shoot them a message for custom stuff. They can probably do it. I don't know. So hopefully that would help. Let's see here. I'm not sure how to pronounce that one. What would you recommend for an SQL daily driver setup in a sealed box on 3K? I'm looking for something that sounds clean and musical with good low end extension. On a 3K, bro, I mean, I can't recommend anything outside of Slapz, man. For subwoofers, shit, dude. Anything else and you're paying too much. I mean, it's just that simple, you know. That's the 18. So it all depends on your what you're wanting to do exactly. But these guys will 100% perform for you. They're going to give you the performance you're looking for and a real good price. So if you're looking at, for example, a 12, you could do the 12-inch Oblivion for $269. You could do the 12-inch SmackDown for $469, and my discount code knocks a chunk of money off of this. So whichever one you pick up, you're going to pay you're going to get a significant drop. And these guys right here, these subs all punch way above what you think they will. Way, way above the money that you're paying. I mean, this, for example, the Oblivion 12 for $269 is absolutely far and above an RMS 2000 watts of power handling ability. It's way above that. They're 46 pounds. And that 12 has a 31 millimeter one-way travel. You know, suggested tuning of 28 to 33 hertz, an FS of 31 hertz. This thing's going to play low, nasty, and get down for $269. It's an absolute steal of a subwoofer. And you can turn around and pick up a 3,000 watt Shock 3K version 2, 3K.1 version 2, $179 right there. That's less than $500 for the subwoofer and the amplifier. You know what I'm saying? And then there's the 3K. This is the class, the half bridge. So The half bridge 3,000 watt for 239, you're still less than $300 or less than $500 for the subwoofer and the amplifier. There's nothing I can't recommend anything over this. There's nothing out there that's going to do this well and get the job done. It's just solid equipment. Use discount code CAE. Save more and more and more, and enjoy the music, not the brand name. So yeah, that is my suggestion. And Craig's saying stereo integrity. Price them out. Price out what they got and price it out to do what I just showed you and see if the prices are the same. Same power handling, same power, uh, same qualifications, and the same price. I guarantee you stereo integrity is not going to keep up with it. And I guarantee you if you install both of them in two different vehicles, you wouldn't be able to tell me which one was which. That's the thing. But yeah, sure. And I agree with you, Craig. I do. They sound good. But I wouldn't buy them over a Slapz sub. The only time I will buy something else over a Slapz sub is if you need a super small, thin sub to go in a very, very tiny, thin box. In that case, I will get the JL Audio TW3 or TW5, depending on how thin you need it to be. Because nobody else builds a sub that will do it as good as that. But unless you're building that kind of an enclosure, I'm going to be running Slapz all day, bro. Let's see here. Glass car. I used to use Horn RSP and model cabin as a series chamber so I could find a way to tune the windiest. No wall Tahoes around 16 hertz. And sedans are around 22. Cool. Yeah, I'm not quite that technical. I have friends that are, but I am not. I am not a numbers guy, so that stuff makes my brain hurt. But kudos to you, brother. I am definitely not that technical. Go round and round about boxes, subs, designs, ported and not ported for hours and days. That's because there's no real right answer, bro. You know, and that means there's always an argument to be had for either side. What's the best place to get low mids in the front door? Front door or in the back? Well, you can get low mids wherever you want them. It's just a matter of, ideally, if you want all the sound to come from the front as much as possible. So if you can put it in the front, that's where you want it. It's also the place where you have the least room to put anything. So there's that. I built, I used a couple of JL TW3 10s and my kick panels of my Chrysler 300. I got a whole build series on that to get my low mids in the front, to have that front stage be filled out really nice. And it sounds ballin', son. It sounds so damn good. That was the best move ever. If you can put your your subs or your low woofers up in the front somewhere and make them work, man, what a freaking thing that is. So that's my answer to that. I have 12 down firing from X-Max here. Down firing side port in my Silverado. It hits great, even though the box is tuned to 38 hertz. That's totally acceptable. That's very good. Keeping a high pass filter at 28.5. Yeah, you don't want it to play lower than your and go out of control, because once it gets down below the port tuning, the box has no control over the sub anymore. It's just the suspension of the sub that's carrying it at that point. That's the thing about a port, is anything below port tuning, like uh, a few frequencies below port tuning, and the sub just doesn't have any control. There's no box controlling it. It's just sitting there free airing at that point. That's why you definitely want a high pass filter or a subsonic filter on your subwoofer. About numbers below, 5 frequencies below your port's tuning, or whatever your port's actually playing at. Not what it was intended to play, but what it's actually playing at. So yeah, good call, good setup. Down firing and side port, and a pickup truck, man. You put the shit where you can. I mean, there's you're limited big time. My Silverado, I had a JL Audio stealth box that was sealed under my back seat, and I wouldn't have put nothing else in there. It was $1,000 for that box, and I got a deal on it to get it at that price. It was actually more than that. But I would not have put anything else in that truck. That sounded so freaking good. Um, those TW3s are just nasty good subs. They're not going to get crazy loud, but man, they played low as shit, and they played smooth right down into the gravel, just right down to the bottom. Uh, Absolutely beautiful work on those subwoofer enclosures too, but you got to pay for them. Hell, the drivers themselves are like $500. Um, that's not including the hand laid fiberglass shell that is made specifically to fit in the vehicle and totally look factory in the end. And it bolts down. It comes with the equipment to bolt it into the truck using existing hardware in the truck. Like I said, it's hard to beat that. Uh, you're very welcome. You're very, very welcome. I can tell you've been doing this a long time and helping people. That's all I can do, man. That's what I do. That's what I was born to do. Drove my mom batshit crazy because I'd be at Walmart helping people find stuff on the shelves. Like I'd be like, "What are you looking for?" "Oh yeah, I'm looking for. Well, let me show you. I know where that is. Hey, you might want to do this or that." That's my thing. It's always been my thing. When I was a kid, it started out. I was born to help people. That's what I've done all my life. By default, no matter what job I've had, I've always been a people helping person. Um, Even if it wasn't part of my job or it wasn't my job at all. It's my natural instinct. So it only makes sense that I would help people with anything that I know how to do. And but yeah, you're very welcome, and thank you. Um, it has been. Is it better to put the Linus to LOS mids or a small front sub? Front sub. Front sub, man. Front sub. If you put it in the console, you can put it down in the kick panels. You could even do an IB front sub in the floor, and have it playing like just infinite baffle, playing into a little chamber there that eventually opens up. It's all kinds of weird ways of doing it, but yeah, front sub all day long. I mean, dude, trust me, the thing that's going to blow your mind is the first time you hear a front sub in your setup. Just go get a computer speaker or some kind of little generic sealed sub or whatever. I don't care what it is. Hook it up to your amp, turn it down low, put it in the floorboard, put it over in the kicks, over in the kick in the floorboard on the passenger side, give it a little power, turn your big sub down, and listen to your system. it'll blow your freaking mind. You'll understand at that point what it is you need to do. It's just that simple, and it don't require hardly anything. Everybody's got an old computer subwoofer sitting around somewhere. Hook it up to your amp, put it in the floorboard on the passenger side, stick it up under the dash as far as it'll go, and turn your big sub in the back all the way off or down and just listen to it. As soon as you start listening to it, you'll understand completely what I'm talking about. There'll be no more discussion necessary. Uh, okay, let's see here. We got a partial statement. Let me go back and see. What would I recommend for an SQ daily setup and a sealed on 3K? Okay. For an avalanche midgate removed. Now you're going to build something in the bed, like a blow through kind of a thing. Oh man, this is whatever you want. Go big or go home. A couple of freaking SmackDown 18s would be real nice back there. Firing straight through that freaking port. The thing is, if you're whatever box you're building, you got to build it to get wet. And which means you absolutely cannot use MDF. You're going to have to use plywood, and then you're going to have to seal the snot out of the plywood. And I mean, seal it good. It needs to be like boat level sealed. Epoxy, multiple layers of epoxy. And then you want to cover the whole thing, of course, with a bed cover and shit like that. But yeah, that would be a bomb system, dude. A couple of 15s or a couple of 18s. I mean, go big, and let it go. If you ain't going to be using that bed space for anything, shit, dude, let it hammer. Still trying to figure out if I should get one 12-inch Oblivion or two 10s. Two 10s is going to give you more cone area. Yeah. And I'd have to look at the camera and I'd have to look at the airspace and how it's all designed and all that stuff. But you're going to get more cone area and more output out of two 10s than you will from 112. So the 12-inch subs Oblivions have a different motor and coil. It's the same motor as the 15s and the 18s. The 10 has a different motor. It's a 1500 watt RMS motor. The 12s have a 2000 watt RMS motor. So it's a little bit bigger motor, a little stronger motor, a little bit bigger coil, a little bit stronger coil, a little bit everything bigger. And so if I was going to pick, I'd be leaning hard towards the 12, although the two 10s are still going to give you more output than the single 12 would. It all depends, though. And price-wise, let's see here. Let's look at the difference. If we compare the two. So the 10s are $189 and the 12s are $269. So you're looking at an $80 difference. So $160 difference between buying. If you bought two, though, you'd be say $290. So that'd be, or say $190. That'd be $380 versus $269. So if you could fit the 15, that would be my choice. Going with a 15. If it'll fit the baffle, you're going to get more out of this guy and for a little bit less money than you will out of these. But that said, all of it's going to sound good. And if you can't fit a 15, I think I would probably lean towards the 12. I know how good these 12 sound. I've heard singles of these in a vehicle before, in a trunk application, and they absolutely slam. I mean, they really get down. And of course, if you want to go stupid, you can pick up the 3000 watt RMS SmackDown 12, which makes you could reconsider life choices when you pick the thing up. It's heavy, extremely heavy. So yeah, there's that. And the WaveTech 10 Pro, WaveTech, yes, they are good. I don't know if they're as good as TW3s. I know they're good though. I haven't heard of them. I just know people that have run both. And it's been a mixed bag of results. So it would come down to price maybe because they're both good. But I've used a ton of the TW3s, and they just keep giving me surprises every time. I keep getting the smile. So I don't like changing up, and if I'm getting what I want, I'm kind of like that, you know. Shadow Page showed up. Hey man, no problem, guys. Thanks for the help. I'm gonna take a little break and I'll come back. If you got any more questions, y'all need to throw them in here. Give me a minute.
Sun goes down, fades away. Lifeless fingers, red decay. Darkness comes, slow moving mist hides the land inside its fist. The riders come, sworn to obey, to chase the colors from the day. They ride on through with a thunderous sound, shakes the mountains and cracks the ground. Power, can you feel that power? As night rolls in with the witching hour. Power, can you feel that power across the land? Can you feel that power? Cold steel hearts, eyes like flame, etched in dust, forgotten names, echoed vows through shattered time, bound by blood and ancient signs. Engines howl like beasts unchained, blackened skies ignite the rain. Every
Hey guys, y'all see this kid right here? Let me show you this kid. The kid right with the dark hair in the middle. Um, he showed up to the last couple of our meets after getting demos and the Tahoe. He showed up to the last couple of our meets and got to get in there and listen to some more stuff. So yeah, he's addicted, and these are his siblings. And I instructed them all to stick their fingers in their ears before they're doing, and as I do with all kids. I'll tell them, hey, put your fingers in your ears just to keep them from, possibly getting any uh, any ear damage. And we also demo kids with the door open, so they'll either stand outside or sit inside with the door open, and I keep the sound down. Don't crank it up quite as loud. All these are layers of things I do whenever I got kids in the vehicle. Just in case anybody was wondering about that, I wanted to clear that shit up. Um, and so, yeah, I am back, by the way, in case you didn't notice. um, Joseph said, loading the SmackDown 15s in the flat wall. And the Kia was killer, yeah. I guarantee you, dude. Um, Putting any sub in a flat wall where you're mounting it in a vertical position is always a bitch. It's always a bitch. Um, but anybody got any other questions for me tonight? Because I know Joseph just showed up, or not Joseph's been here forever, but Shadow Page just showed up. And by the way, Shadow Page, did you listen to the rebase track that I sent you? I'm curious as to whether what you thought about that. We're going to check it out. It's a new, um, I don't remember the name of it now, but anyway, it's a new track that somebody did with AI. Uh, Basically, it's the clown rapping, and he did the whole AI video and everything. It was very, very good, very, very well done. The track is killer, but it needed a little bit more bass. So I went through and rebased it for my friends, and I sent a copy of it to Shadow Phage. Or did I send it to Joseph? I think I sent it to Joseph. I don't know if I sent Shadow Phage the thing. Um, 6'2" and 311 pounds. Uh, cool. I don't get up to Kansas City. Uh, he's a big boy. I don't get up to Kansas City very often. Um, I try to dodge KC because it's Kansas City. I mean, if you live there, you know why everybody would try to dodge the damn place. Uh, yeah, it's messed up, man. But and the people there are great. It's just the town is jacked up. Um, yeah, I haven't. No, I haven't released anything in a while. I've got some things on the burner though. Shadow Page. Um, Craig said, "Send me some tracks." I got stuff I've been working on, guys. I just hang tight just a second here. Let me minimize that. I can't really. I don't think I should play this track because it on YouTube because it would. So it's called Pennywise. Is the name of the track that I rebased, but I can't play it on YouTube. So look it up on YouTube. You can get the regular version and check it out. It's a good track. Pennywise. This is one that I just got done with. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can get this to play in. I don't know if it'll work. I don't know if it'll work or not, but we're going to try it. I'm going to see if it works. Y'all can hear this. I haven't even uploaded this one yet. This is a new track. I was afraid of that. Uh, I was afraid it wasn't going to have sound. Let me see here. Doodly doo, doodly doo. It's always up to the stupid. I'm gonna try it again here. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try again. I'm gonna do a thing. I think I know what it is. Also, share audio. Okay, entire screen, audio, and this one, share. All right, let's see if you can hear this. Let me know up front if you can hear it. Can y'all hear that? Y'all hear it? Yes, no?
37 in the line when the pressure start rising. Sound waves slide through the ride like a low end siren. Whole frame flex when the wavelength treble hit one note. Make the whole damn pavement rattle. Rolling and rolling, the wave keep moving. Doors keep shaking and the roof keep grooving. Air get thick when the low note hit. Whole crowd lean when the baseline hit. Push that pressure through the port like thunder. See start moving from the wave down under. Mirror keep jumping and the glass keep bending. 37 hit in the row, keep it standing, no break, no breath. Just a constant vibration, low frequency force with a long wave rotation. Ride through the keep and then it bounce off the back. Come around again with another attack. Wave on wave and the pressure keeps stacking. Hair in the air when the low end crack it. Amp stay pulling and the cone stay traveling. Whole car float when the bass start unraveling. 37 up like a storm in motion. Deep in the chest like a bass filled ocean. Roll through the flow, then it climb through the sea. Steady sound wave with a hard drum beat. Never let up, let the whole thing ride. 37 hertz got the room pressurized.
Anyway, that's that little track. Um, let's see. I had that. I fixed. I fixed it. I fixed it. I fixed it. Thank you. Um, Craig said, when I'm tuning my stuff, I like to use Dire Straits, but I listen to everything but country. Alice Cooper to ZZ Top. Why not some country? Country's not bad. It's not all of it's country. Country has it. Some country has sort of a global appeal. Like everybody likes certain songs. You know, I don't really like grouping stuff as a specific group because it doesn't always work that way. I mean, if you look at a lot of artists that are big country artists, they could also very well a lot of their music can fall into multiple categories, and that's because there's not really a wall that says this is definitely this, you know. And I mean, sure, you know, Hank Williams singing "There's a Tear in My Beer." That's pretty much straight country. There's nothing else you can do with that, you know. But what about Hank Williams Jr. singing "Now Where My Rowdy Friends Are Coming Over Tonight"? I don't know. That's got a little bit of a rock vibe to it, you know. Um, it's like, so I don't like putting stuff in a box. I'm more like listening to uh, what I want. Not, it doesn't matter what its label is, you know. Let's see here. Appreciate the thumbs up. Uh, I've been trying to release Shadow Page. Then I've been trying to release a paced amount of music. Thanks again for introducing me to this hobby. Yeah, it's a cool hobby, man. We do a lot of cool stuff. I have a lot of fun with it, and I'm just right now I'm on a little bit of a break. Um, and what else do I got? I got a couple more over here. Let me see. What's this one? Oh, and stuff that I didn't release. Pre-master. What else is in here? Pre-master. I haven't released that. This is pretty cool. This is 22 hertz, guys. So I'll play a little bit of this. Just know that it's a 22 hertz bottom note. If you're listening to it on a big system, just watch that bottom note. It's going to really come to life on your shit.
Swing low. Subs and it's swinging low. 24 hertz make the whole street know. Then I lean on the knob like swing. I'm about to start flexing, you start bending. Long low note, then it just keeps extending. Hair in the air and the wind keeps spinning. Hope damn cabin go flex. Swing. I don't need highs when I come through clean. I want that pressure that you feel, not see. Low enough, make that concrete breathe. 30 hertz, now bring me 20 swing. Drop that note to the dashboard shake. Drop that note to the street lights wait. Drop that note to the whole world quake. And hold that note. Swing low, swing low. Swing low. Swing low. Swing low. Swing low. 4 big 15, amps on fire, voltage steady in the low, climb higher. One long note like a live transmission, hit so hard, make the soul reposition. 26 hertz when I let that ride, feel that pressure push from side to side. No quick bursts, it's a full-blown tide, I want all that violence. Swing, ear is shaking like you wanna break free. Roof got waves like a storm at sea. You hear that rumble before you see me, then the whole block chant. Oh, I don't want cute, I don't want polite, I want look thunder in the dead of night. Big sound wave in the wall that tight, then drop it one more time. Swing, break it down, swing low. Let it crawl through the floor and rise. Let it shake every mirror inside. Let it roll like thunder through the night. Every time that note come back, swing. No fake bass, no muddy disguise. Clean, no pressure with the violent size. You can see the wave in 100 eyes. When the whole crowd yell, let the subs move in, let the hair go wild, let the doors bow out for a quarter mile. Let the whole damn system lose its mind and bring that pressure back. Swing.
I think that sounds pretty damn good, man. I like a good sounding track and that's got a nice deep rumbling bass line underneath it. But to me, it's got to sound good first and then bass out second. That's what I'm shooting for. Well, if you guys don't have any more questions for me tonight, I'm waiting on y'all. That's what I'm here for. I'm going to go ahead and get the duck out of here. We've been doing this for a little while tonight, a little over 2 hours. And I had a long day today. So you guys have a great evening. And, we'll get the duck out. Thank you, Shadow Page.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Bad day today. The alternator's at 11 volts idle. It's got a 160. There you go, man. Sounds like the voltage regulator.
Up and down the street, slamming it to the ground. Big subwoofers are getting loud. You can feel the booming sound. Getting ready to go. Got it shined up for the show. Power's charging, amps are amping, gonna let the woofers blow.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. And another one goes, and another one goes, and another one bites the dust. We got more at home. Another one bites the dust.
Voltage regulator go bad on you. Also check your wiring and check for loose connections. Check the grounds. Check the power connections.
Wires are glowing and the amps smoking. Subs are cherry red. Let me keep jamming, gotta keep the bass slamming. Gonna go hard till they're dead. Full power, gotta let it go. 20 hertz in the floating air. Sparks are flying, voice coils are frying, and the smoke is in the air. Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. And another one goes, and another one goes, and another one bites the dust. Hey, we got more at home. Another one bites the dust.
Y'all show love to your neighbors.
Got it.
Treat each other right.
Ooh.
That's what it takes to keep communities real, man. Take care of people. Represent yourself in the hobby well.
Yeah.